Folsom Dore is important for two reasons. It's the first LEED certified green building in San Francisco, and that's a very key development. The other is that this is a development that mixes both homeless people coming out of homeless situations, and people who merely have wages that are so low they can't afford to live and work in the city. Mayor Newsom came into office here with an idea about trying to address the homeless issues more specifically, and he developed a program in which people would get their housing subsidies more directly, and to do that, the city needed to develop more affordable housing for people coming out of shelters and coming off the street.
The mix of people coming from chronic homelessness and people coming from the single-room occupancy hotels, and then people just coming from whether it's market rate housing or whether it's other affordable housing communities. It's an interesting mix for people. It's an amazing texture to the community.
If you build in town and you build at a reasonable density, it not only enables people to live without cars or with limited use of cars, but then the buildings themselves have very light loads. They don't have big heat or air conditioning draws.
Buildings consume 40% of the energy on the planet. So when you talk about petroleum products disappearing and this energy crisis that we're facing, and you look at segments that need to be reduced, it would be foolish to ignore one that took almost half of the energy on the planet.
People's typical image of a green building is this nice, lovely custom home set on a nice lot. What I think most people don't think of when they think of green building is a dense urban fabric and a 5 to 8 story building. In America, what we're trying to say is this is green building too. And in fact, from our perspective, it's even better than that other kind of green building because it gets at so many of the other environmental issues that we need to address around transit and car usage and walking and biking.
The state is now implementing through our state bonded programs green building and universal design threshold standards. Other states look to us as a leader, a role model. So as we develop our standards, I hope that the other state agencies, housing agencies throughout the country start implementing, borrowing our ideas, our guidelines.
Green, affordable housing in an urban environment is an amazing accomplishment.
We actually have some of the best affordable housing in the country. It's among the best designed. It has some of the most impressive environmental credentials. And people, not everyone believes you. Here's this national foundation telling you that this is among the best green building in the country. And it does an enormous amount to start you off on the right foot for the next development and the development after and so forth.
This is a really tough business, and it's difficult to find the funds to make these kinds of projects happen. And we have to search far and wide to try and find the resources for this. So to have an organization like the Home Depot Foundation come in and say, we recognize what you're doing, here's a pot of funds you can use now to keep your organization going and to find new opportunities and make these go, that's just an all-timer for us. It's fantastic, and we really appreciate what they're doing for us.
Building costs a lot of money. And in any building, you make choices about where you spend your money. So there's always some discretionary spending. And I think that if you choose to use your discretionary spending to make the building more sustainable, I think it's not necessarily going to cost you significantly more, possibly not any more at all.
It can be done. You can do this kind of housing, and it's really exciting to look at the different things that people are coming up with.
It's just really wonderful to be able to point to a building that we did, that was on budget, that wasn't more expensive than any other project that we did, and say, this is a LEED Silver affordable housing building. And if you don't have that example, people just don't think it's possible. So we can take them there, we can show them the building.